Alright, so we got some exciting things going on here. Got the M96 engine cylinder heads. There's one here, there's one there. This build is coming right along. We're going to be installing the oversized intake valves with brand new valve springs and valve stem seals. And here's the tool we're going to use to install the valve stem seals, because if you don't seat them just right, they actually just are press fit by hand. So if they don't go in just right, they can pop out or they can get cocked. Alright, now we're cleaning everything off before we put this new valve spring in. Here's the new valve springs from Porsche. Yeah, I don't reuse them when I do these kind of builds just because it's just not worth it if one breaks. So when building an engine, it's very critical to know where everything goes. This one has been cut already. I like to designate my cylinders. I could always take those marks off. I don't like to guess. You never want to guess. You always want to have everything marked properly. So we're going to go ahead and put these exhaust valves, install them in right now first, and then we'll move down to the intake. We're going to get them nice and lubed up real nicely. Clean them, make sure they're clean, there's no debris, and we're going to go ahead and insert them. Just like that. There it is. Now we're going to install our retaining ring, new valve spring, our valve stem guide. We're going to put a little slip over so we don't get the keepers, so we don't mess up our valve stem seals. There's going to be a little cap here that we'll install in a minute. Okay, so here's our valve stem. I normally don't work with gloves, but for this video I want to work with gloves. That's our retainer. Here's our valve stem. This is a factory genuine part, and that's the little slip on here over our valve, so we don't damage the keepers with this. And this is why a proper and a professional engine rebuild is so time consuming, and it takes so much time that people don't understand. It's not just slapping it together and making it work, because when you slap it together you don't really know anything, tolerances, and it's not going to be a quality build. You're not going to build maximum horsepower, and there's not going to be any reliability for the most part, unless you're really lucky. I've seen valve stem seals and get installed just like this with that little gap. That's absolutely wrong. I had a machinist that I got some heads back from, and he had one of his guys install my valve stem seals, and this is how they install them. I went ahead and bought new ones, and I had to redo one, and this is not how you want to do it. So you need this tool, because if you start leaving them like this, they will pop out and you're going to have a major oil consumption issue. This is how you want them to be seated. This is how deep, all the way on, just like that. This is how a professional way of doing them, and it just takes just a little bit more time to get them done right. Here's our keeper. It's fully seated. Now we're going to need to decompress the spring. We got the exhaust valves all installed with brand new valve stem seals, fully seated where they need to be, and time to move on to the intake. Here we are, completed with cylinder head bank 1. Time to move down to bank 2. Intake valves, we got most of them installed. A couple more left, and then we'll move down to the cylinder bank 2. Finishing the last step. Put some grease here so we can insert the keepers. There's our keeper. There we go, got that one in there.